Lorraine, we're on to your favourite topic of the podcast. We're on to fitness, healthy age and fitness. How excited are you about this series?
Oh my goodness, I've got so much knowledge. Like, I just live my life every day, totally fitness focused. Every day you're going to learn so much from me. I don't know if we need any guests because I think I can pretty much cover that. Yeah, joking.
Hashtag joke.
I'm looking forward to it. Yeah, it'll be. I think there'll be you'll be doing a lot more talking this series than me, Susie. I've got a funny feeling.
Oh well, isn't that unusual? Susie gets to talk more and enjoys it at the same time. But now she has a reason rather than just talking. So I obviously am really excited about this series because I'm hugely into fitness. I love fitness. I haven't always loved fitness, which is interesting. And actually, if it's okay to ask you in front of everybody, how old are you, Lorraine?
42.
So like, I wasn't into fitness at 42.
What?
No. So my background is, obviously I went to the military. I actually, right, so I was a child, you'll laugh at this. I was a child that would get up at 7 a.m. and meet my friend and we would go out for a run.
Oh my, so there you go. That doesn't back up what you've just said.
But that's honestly, like, that's what, I'm not saying I've done that for years as a child, but yeah, my friend Stacey, I was brought up in a village called Hall Glen, which is in Falkirk, and it's a scheme, and it's round. I don't know how far it is, and we used to meet at the bus stop, and we would run the scheme. It's really, really, really funny. So I was into fitness, went into the army, still into fitness, although I wasn't that fit in the army, but that's another story. Left the army and went, woohoo, I don't have to do any fitness anymore. So I actually stopped. And then so I would have left the army when I was 27. Yeah, about 27. And I would have been in and out of fitness between the age of 27 and when I took over the CrossFit gym, or became a partner in the CrossFit gym, which was just 4 years ago. So I would have been, 42? So from the age of 27 to 42, I was in and out of fitness like a yo-yo, and it would be, all right, I'll maybe go and do a half marathon. So I'd start running training. And then I would do nothing for 2 years. Or I would do, there was, a biathlon where it was cycling and running. I would do that. I would maybe do fitness challenges. So I've walked the West Highland Way a couple of times. But I wasn't something I was doing all the time. And I've never, ever been a gym person. I don't like the gym. I love the outdoors. I love CrossFit, like absolutely love CrossFit because it's completely different from a gym, in my opinion. Yeah. I went through a stage of Zumba, loved Zumba. That was amazing because it was dance and it was fun. But yeah, no, it's not that I've been a fitness freak all my life. So there you go. Do you feel better?
I do. I feel as if when I'm thinking now of the things that I have done fitness like related up to this point, then probably like it's quite similar. So I could actually just make a decision today to get totally into fitness and start changing how I'm. Yeah, that's good.
And then do you remember when we were speaking about when we done the nutrition podcast and we spoke to Kirsty and she spoke about weight training? She wasn't the only person that spoke about that, was she? Was there not somebody else spoke about that as well?
There was. Was it Rich?
It might have been Rich. I think it was, eh?
Yep, I think it might have been, yep.
And that was, I had never done strength training in my life until I bought into the CrossFit gym.
Wow.
So I was your age when I first started doing any type of strength training. Now, obviously in the army, I would have been doing strength training, but I wouldn't have really known that that's what it was. But then it depends, I'm saying strength training. I had never in my life picked up a barbell until I was 42-year-old.
There you go.
Have you picked up a barbell?
Not picked up a barbell, but I have done strength training. So when we did like our chat about nutrition, I said about one of the things that I'd done, like I was focused on weight loss as per, and it was like it was really clean eating. So it was like a paleo diet where you really just did cut out everything apart from like meat, fish, vegetables, nuts. You did cut out a lot of grains and things like that as well. But part of that was a strength training program. So it was like 3 times a week, just using like dumbbells and stuff. And that was the one time when my body shape completely changed. So I only did it for like 12 weeks. And I didn't lose the scales. There wasn't like a massive difference on the scales, but my body shape completely changed in that 12-week period. I didn't stick with it because the eating was I couldn't stick, like it wasn't sustainable for me to eat that way all the time. But I wish I'd known then what I know now about the power of strength training, and like, you know, I definitely probably could have introduced other things back into my diet and just kept up the strength training.
Yeah, absolutely.
So yeah, listen, I think after that chat with Kirsty on all the benefits of strength training, and Rich spoke about that as well. It was Rich, because he talked about us being under muscled as we head into like our older ages or past middle age. So, you know, when you understand how the other benefits of it, apart from, as I always come at everything just to lose weight, like there's so many other benefits.
Yeah, definitely. And I think as well, when we're talking about fitness, and especially fitness as we age, and we've got some really interesting guests lined up yet again for this section. But it's knowing that like what works for your body, and again what your goals are, what you want to achieve. But I definitely think as we age, you know, it's not putting that pressure on ourselves to look a certain way or perform a certain way, unless that's your absolute focus and goal. But even just walking, and again, I remember when I keep going back to Kirsty, but she just gave a lot of really good information. But when we came off the podcast, she was speaking about the fact that walking would be a non-negotiable for her as well. You know, so walking and strength training, I think if those are the 2 things that you could really, really do, and I do believe that most people could do that, not everybody, because people do have disabilities, there's certain things that happen for people, but those 2 things would be of huge benefit, like huge benefit as you age.
Yeah.
Do you agree with that, Lorraine?
Definitely. And one of the things, I think I shared this on one of our 7 a.m. business calls that we do a while back, and it was Dr. Chatterjee, my favourite. He has a book, which I can't remember what it's actually called now. It's usually lying around me. It's not there, but we can put it in the show notes, the exact name of the book. And it's about basically putting like 5-minute habits in place, 5-minute good habits in place 3 times a day. So over the course of the day, you're doing 15 minutes of things that are good for you, and one of those elements is 5 minutes of body weight strength training. So it's literally squats, lunges, just things like that, and it just lasts for 5 minutes. It gives you like a little circuit that you can do, and the thing about it that I shared on our call was, like, we all understand that if we went outside and smoked cigarettes constantly for 5 minutes every single day, that will negatively catch up in us. But we refuse to believe that doing something for 5 minutes that's going to be of positive influence on us could actually have that big of an effect, so we don't bother doing it. But it does just show you that even if you can only do 5 minutes a day as a starter doing body weight stuff, and then if you were getting your steps in and your walking in as well, which I do love walking, and definitely over lockdown that was something that I found a real love for, just mentally as well as just, you know, physically. It's good to feel like you've done your 10,000 steps or whatever your goal around walking might be. And I think that is one of the big things, is exactly what you just said. Like, I am fit and able. Like, I absolutely I am lucky enough, I'm, you know, grateful to have a body that still can go and do those things when there's people that don't have that. So yeah, I would agree definitely that if you can just implement those 2 things, it would be, you know, it can be a great benefit to you.
And there's a couple of things you've said there that have reminded me of things. Like, so one of the things that I do every single day with my gratitudes is I am so grateful for being physically and mentally fit. because I am so grateful for that. And there are times when I've been out running. I remember once actually out running and I saw a lady, and it was one of those rubbish runs. I was knackered, I couldn't be bothered, I wasn't doing well. I was almost like, oh, why am I even doing this? I just wanted to give up. I was running along, I saw a lady in a wheelchair, and I went, oh, you have got nothing to complain about. And listen, that lady in the wheelchair was dead happy. I'm not meaning that, but she couldn't do what I was actually doing at that time. And it was another reminder to me to just be absolutely grateful every single day for my physical and mental health. And I really, really am. And then the second thing you said is that about Dr. Chatterjee with the 5 minutes, because as you know, I am running just now. That's my main focus. So I run 4 times a week, sometimes 3, but I'm focused on a training program just now where I run 4 times a week. And that's so that I can achieve a 10K in 50 minutes, which is a massive goal for me. Like a 10K, I would be an hour to do a 10K. So to knock 10 minutes off is huge. But I'm focused on it. I'm going to keep doing it till I achieve it. So I do that 3-4 times a week. And then I do yoga pretty much every single day. And that can be 15 minutes or 30 minutes. It's not like an hour's worth of yoga. I have an accountability partner, a good friend, Catherine, who we've had on the podcast before. Her and I, we meet online and do our yoga together. So we're being accountable, and because we're both doing it, it works really, really well for us. However, recently, once I've achieved my 10K in 50 minutes, I then want to do much more in the CrossFit world. I want to start doing, because I am not strong. I've not got physics. I'm just not strong. I'm fast, but I'm not strong. I've never been strong. And I really want to do that. So of course, the thing that you're weak at is often the thing that you shy away from. And so that's what I do. I tend to shy away. So I walk into the CrossFit gym when I'm back up in Scotland, and I'm probably one of the unfittest in there because I just don't have the strength. So what I decided was I'm just going to do 5 minutes every day of strength training, and I'll do some press ups, and I'll do some, like, I've got a kettlebell, 12 kilogram kettlebell. I'll do stuff with my kettlebell. But I talked myself out of it because I was like, well, what's 5 minutes every day? That's just wait till you've done your running. Once you've achieved that, then go on and do that. So tomorrow I'm going to start that.
Well, why don't we be accountable to each other for that 5 minutes?
Okay.
It's a start for me. Like, I know that you're doing loads and loads of other things, but we could definitely be accountable to each other for doing our 5 minutes each day.
Yeah, absolutely. Ooh. Let's do it.
My favourite C word. My favourite C word.
What's that word again, Lorraine?
Consistency, is it?
That word. Well, this is going to be interesting because we've got 6 weeks of fitness, so I'm going to have you share every single week if you're being consistent with your 5 minutes. And actually, do you know what we should do is we should have see, this is where I get all controlly.
Well, you're a spreadsheet about this, aren't you? I feel a spreadsheet coming on.
Well, I'm like, let's track it. That's totally right. I'm like, let's track this. Let's see where we were on day 1 and where we are on week 6. What's the point doing it if you can't see and track?
I'll get David to put a jar lid on really, really tight, and then I'll see how much I can open it in day 1 compared to how much I can open it like 6 weeks in, if I'm mega strong by then.
So no, listen, let's commit here and now on this podcast. What is our 5 minutes going to be? They don't have to be the same. Like we don't have to do the same thing.
Well, I'm going to do Dr. Chatterjee's little circuit because it's like dead easy, and it's like it covers everything. So you do. I can't remember what the upper body thing is. If it's like push-ups against the door or something like that. The ones you can do standing up. There's definitely lunges, and there's definitely something for your upper body as well. So I'll commit to doing that.
Right. So and it's a 5 minute thing, is it, Dr. Chatterjee's?
Yeah, I'll send you what I'm doing.
Right, okay. I don't know what I'm committing to yet. I definitely want to have press ups in there. Can I think about it and come back to you?
Of course, yeah.
We'll put it in the show notes.
Yeah. This because I have been thinking about this. to always do a lot of thinking about things and never actually taking action. So I have been thinking about it. So this is really, really good that I'm committing to this and we're doing it like that way. So yeah, all good.
Brilliant. And are you able to give our listeners access to Dr. Chatterjee's thing that he does?
Yeah, I mean, I can just take a picture of the page in the book and we can post that, definitely. And I'll try and find something that's a wee bit more, like, you know, a bit more professional than that. But if it comes to it, then we can always add like just the picture in of what the wee circuit is.
Brilliant. Or again, anybody is welcome to just contact us. They can drop us a message if we need to send them.
Yeah.
I'm very driven and motivated when I listen to something or somebody or I read something, you know, like, so the 5 a.m. Club, I read that book and it was like, whoa, I'm up at 5 a.m. every day. I'm very, very motivated for it. And then last week it started to drop away a little bit. There was things going on in my life and I didn't quite do it. So then I was accountable online. I'm like, right, you've got to get back into it. And I've been saying to myself, maybe I need to listen to it again because I allowed myself to have a few days off. How dare I? You know, I need to re-motivate myself and re-listen. So that's why I'm thinking it would be really good. I would love it if people that are listening to this, if we can motivate anybody to do you know what, I'm going to do that. I can do 5 minutes a day. That would be great.
So cool. Yeah, definitely. That'd be so cool. Let us know if anybody does decide that they're going to take that up.
I love it. I also, when we went into lockdown the second time or the third time or the whatever time, I don't remember, but one of the times when we went into lockdown, I don't know if you remember this, Lorraine, Brenda Dugan, who's my business partner in CrossFit, we had obviously brought a lot of things online because the gym was closed. And one of the things that she done as we were coming back to reopen was a bingo challenge.
Oh, that's right.
And do you remember this?
Yeah.
And there was 9 squares. So you had to print it off. There was 9 squares, and in each square was something. And you had 21 days to achieve it. And it was things like, I mean, I don't remember the numbers, but it was things like, in fact, I should look it up, like 500 press ups. And you think, oh my gosh, but if you break it into days, it's much less. It was something like, I can't remember how many steps. It was a ridiculous amount of steps, 100,000 steps or something like that. So there was press ups, there was steps, there was squats, you had to walk a hill.
A hill, yeah, that's right.
You had to walk a hill. And there was a couple of other things in there. Well, there was 9 things. I'm not joking you. It was phenomenal. I loved it. And like my goal, because I'm so goal driven, was to tick all 9 boxes. But that's when I started tracking my steps. I'd never tracked my steps before. And I think it averaged out at like you had to do 10,000 a day. And I remember thinking, gosh, that would be dead easy. Oh my gosh, it really wasn't.
Yeah, I know that you think 10,000 steps is nothing. And it's actually like if I do the school walk in the morning rather than do the car, if I walk to school, I get my 10,000 steps in without even thinking about it. But it's just not practical to always walk to school if it's raining or it's freezing and things like that. So if I don't do that, I average about 6,000 steps a day because I sit at a desk all day. So it then gets to like, if I'm not on top of that, it can get to 9 o'clock at night. I check my steps and I'm like, oh man, 6,000 steps, that's rubbish. Sometimes I can go a walk at 9 o'clock at night. Sometimes I can't. It depends. My husband works shifts. Like there's all different variable factors. But if I was on top of it better, you know, if I noticed that, if I was checking in on it at like 1 o'clock in the afternoon and I could say, right, that's it. I'm just going to walk the school run, even though I don't have a kid with me. Like, because I know that will get me over the 10,000. It doesn't even feel as if you're doing much. Yeah. So I think that's good when you're tracking and you're focused on something. It just gives you that wee bit of like remembering to check in on it, so you can still do something about it. So
do your kids not have rain jackets, gloves and hats? Have you deprived them of that, Lorraine?
Listen, my wee Oski is the tiniest wee thing you've ever seen. He doesn't have a bit of meat in his bones. He's the skinniest like child that's ever been put on the planet. He's got no meat in the bones to keep him cozy. So he literally complains from the minute if it's even like slightly chilly. He complains about the cold. So I feel as if like I'm a bad mother if I make him like walk I'll scoot.
Oh my gosh, are you hearing yourself? Did you actually say that out loud? You
Max,
feel like a bad mother if you make your child walk.
We do walk, like I'm saying, like maybe we'll do the walk like 2 or 3 times a week, and then there'll be a couple of days it maybe gets to Friday and he'll be like, Mummy, can we take the car today? Can we drive? And we're not dead close to the school, like it is a good, it would take me like 20 minutes to walk to the school, but when I've got Oscar it's like a good half an hour to walk to school, so it's not like it's just a wee 5-minute walk. Come on.
My gosh, oh my gosh, that sounds torturous. Do you remember when you were a child having to walk to school? I remember times actually, I remember once holding onto a lamppost because I thought I was going to get blown away. It was that windy. Like, you know, there was no way mum was like, jump in the car, I'll drive you to school because there's a bit of wind outside. So it's like, well, get out there. When you're holding onto that lamppost, it'll give you some strength.
The walk that I had to do to school was along past a burn, like so a fast flowing burn, like kind of in the middle of nowhere, so it was like, you know, there wasn't much else there. Then you had to cross like a main busy road. There was a lollipop lady, but still like cross a main busy road, and then even once you did that there was still like a good bit of a walk to do. And I mean, I remember doing that when I don't know, like maybe 7 or 8, something like that. I did that walk by myself.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh no, my wee Oski, can you have him being a bit chilly?
It's listen, it's easy for me to say as a non-mother, but my gosh, come on, mothers, what are you doing?
I have to say, Max gets chucked out in all weathers. He's like, you know, he's plays football in the snow. He plays like they were raging one night because their football got called off because it was like actual thunder and lightning storm, and it was like unsafe for them, and they weren't happy that they weren't able to play their football. So he gets chucked out in all weathers, but my wee Oski.
Well, listen, this will make you feel better. Hopefully it'll make you feel better. So I'm laughing at you saying, if you don't do the school walk, you only get, did you say about 6,000 steps in?
Yeah.
Well, Lorraine, if I don't run or deliberately put walks aside, I don't even get 2,000 steps in.
Wow, right, okay. See, I would have been like that when I worked in an office, whereas working from home, even though I am sat a lot of the time, I obviously get up, let the dog out, do this. I don't know how I seem to accumulate more steps than what I ever did when I worked in the office.
Yeah, no, I'd like that's, you would be lucky if I'd done 2,000 if I didn't exercise. Wow. You know, so yeah, because I work from home. That's, to be fair, that's only been since lockdown, because my career would have always had me out and about. And actually, Mum and I were talking about it the other day. Mum said to me, "You're hardly ever out now," and you know, I'm moving to Washington DC very soon, and I cannot wait just so I get out and about again. Now, I'm not saying I can't get out and about where I am just now, but
wait a minute. Do you not get hat and gloves and scarf and rain jackets where you live? So if they stop selling them in England, you have to wait. You go to nice weather in Washington.
I'm talking about business, Lorraine. When I'm doing my business. Listen, the weather doesn't bother me. I go out with all weathers, hats, scarves. Did you not see the picture of me that time that I went out when I was doing my 5k a day in May, and it was absolutely torrential rain. I didn't have the right gear on. I had to come home and change, and I'm like wringing it out, you know. So brilliant. But yeah, no. So it just goes to show you as a mum, because a lot of that will be you running around after the kids as well.
Yeah, it definitely is.
And that's why you'll be getting steps in. So yeah. I just don't get them in. So anyway, we're digressing, but that's what we do. That's what we do. The other thing, I think another couple of really good exercises as you age would be swimming.
Yes.
And Mum and I were out shopping a few weeks ago, and we bumped into a lady. She was the lady that was serving us. She was an amazing woman. She was Mum's age, and so my mum's 71, and she was talking about aqua aerobics. We were trying to find different things for Mum to do. So my mum does Pilates and she does her yoga, but we were trying to find other things for her to do. And this is what the woman said, well, what about aqua aerobics? And I'm like, gosh, that would be a great one for people that are a bit older. So Just thought I would throw that one in as well. But definitely the strength training and the walking, I would say, would definitely be the two biggies. What would, like, I mean, I'm not very sure about this, like, but what if someone was older and hadn't done a lot of exercise, what would be their best thing, do you think? Obviously none of us are experts on this, but what do you think their best thing would be?
I mean, I think walking is going to be one of the things, isn't it? And I think it depends what age they are and how, you know, how able they are. I think that would be the main thing. But you see, sometimes, you know, people who have to still sit in their chair, but they've got their wee dumbbells or they're using their cans or something, like they're still doing something. So I'm sure there's loads of stuff that people can go and look into and get some ideas on it. But yeah, I think swimming's good, isn't it? Because it's you know, it's just how you feel when you're in the water and things as well, isn't it? I think that would definitely be a good one if people are able to get there.
Yeah,
like,
well, that's it.
No.
And what about the cold water swimming, Lorraine? Are you up for that?
Oh, geez, well, I did, as you know, I've said on one of the podcasts before that I did the cold water showers. So it was actually not. It's not something that I don't find it doesn't bother me that much. Actually, I'm still doing them. So especially on hair washing days, I actually love the feeling of like you've just like washed all your hair and stuff, and then just let the freezing cold water on you. I actually really like it, but I hate the sea. Like I absolutely hate the sea. Like my mind goes to places that I just don't like the thought of the sea. So that's what would put me off that. And getting in your swimsuit on a beach at the moment, that would definitely be enough to put me off. Maybe that would like force me into the water quick, before Andy sees me, get into the water.
So you and I know a lot of people that do the cold water swimming.
We do.
And a lot of them have been saying to me, oh, you should do it. I'm like, no, I'm never going to do that for the exact same reasons as you, Lorraine. I'm like, why would you want to get into a swimming costume when it's already freezing, then walk into the cold and you don't even know what you're walking into, what jellyfish are there and everything else, and then you've got to come back out, wrap yourself up in something warm, sit down with a cup of tea and socialise. I mean, what's that all about? Who's got time for that? Come on. So like, I'm really not into it at all. I'm just not, and people laugh at me all the time about it because I'm just being honest and true to who I am, and I'm like, no, it just doesn't appeal to me. But when I found out you could just have a cold bath and actually the benefits of that, I was like, brilliant. So I enjoy the cold baths. I'm not into the cold showers. I've never managed to get that, so that's interesting to hear that you're doing good at that. And then you know, Brenda Dugan, who we'll definitely have on the podcast, her husband John has got the barrel, and you see him in the winter breaking the ice to get into the barrel.
I mean, that's intense, isn't it?
So I'd do the barrel. I would do the barrel. I'd happily break the ice as well.
Would you?
I could do that. Yeah, I could do that.
Gosh. And it's just for minutes, isn't it? It's just like you stay there for minutes. It's not like...
Yeah. I think Wim Hof says 10 minutes is enough.
Right, okay.
The gentleman Ryan that introduced me to Wim Hof, or the one that basically said to me, Susie, if you're talking about healthy aging and you're not doing Wim Hof, then you're a fraud. You never quite said it like that. He's an exercise guy, and we're going to have him on the podcast as well. So it'll be really good to explore more of Wim Hof when he comes on. But I don't think there's much really for us to talk when it comes to exercise, other than us committing to our 5 minutes, getting experts on, and just finding out what other people think about fitness. I mean, you can only talk about the things that you do. And what I would say is, for anybody that's listening, if they're not into fitness, it's about finding what you're passionate about. Lots of people don't enjoy running. I love running. It's an absolute total stress for me. So that's why I do it. Stress release for me. That's why I do it. If I didn't enjoy it, I wouldn't do it. And I think it's like I say, I don't enjoy going to the gym, but I love going to CrossFit. It's very, very different. So it's finding what you love doing. And if you can find what you love to do, and you might have to go through many, many sports to find that, but if you can find it and then stick to it, or just do what Lorraine and I are doing, 5 minutes a day.
5 minutes a day. Yep. Nice, easy start into it for sure. But I think the thing is, like, I have done various things over the years. And see, because it wasn't going to a gym, or it wasn't going running, or it wasn't like, oh my God, I'm sweating so much, like a spin class, like let's get the sweaty selfies on Facebook. Because it wasn't that, I always felt as if it was a bit pointless. I've climbed Ben Nevis, I've climbed like loads of mountains and stuff and hills and stuff before. I really, really, really enjoyed it. But because it wasn't that whole, like, what I classed as like fitness, being a fit person, I just kind of put it to the side. So I think you're absolutely spot on when you say that, it's about finding things that you love, and it's about moving your body in some way. So the strength training thing is like so beneficial to your bones and your body and all of those things as we age. There's just moving, just doing your 10,000 steps a day is really, really, really beneficial for you. So it's whatever that looks like for you.
Because there's been a lot of research into those 10,000 steps, hasn't there?
There has loads of research. Just, there's the mental clarity and just like the actual feeling of getting out and just being active and all of those things. But there's a whole thing, and I'm definitely not an expert to speak about this, but I just know a tiny wee bit about it, where you burn calories. So we think that we need to go to the gym if we're like trying to lose weight or whatever. We have to go to the gym and we have to do these like 3-hour sessions, like not all in one go, but 3 times every week, or else it doesn't count. But actually that's only a tiny little bit of how we burn calories, and actually we burn a lot more calories through what we do in a day. So your NEAT, which again I can't remember all of that, we can look this up and tell people, I just know it's called NEAT. So what you just do on a normal day-to-day basis. So if you can look to increase that, so just by, instead of parking at the closest parking spot to Morrison's that you can find, that you're going to have to do 5 steps into the shop, go and park away at the top end of the car park and just walk there. If you do that every day, that's going to be helpful. If you work somewhere where you can choose to take the stairs instead of taking the lift or whatever, that's going to help. If you walk to school with your little tiny baby children, that'll be freezing. If you do that every day, that's really helpful. So yeah, it's all of the things. It's looking at like how you can just get more out of the things that you have to do on a daily basis anyway, rather than going and sweating your ass off at the gym.
Yeah. And it's all about where you are in life, and that, like, what you can fit in, isn't it? Because you're very, very busy, a mum with 2 kids, a husband that is like a kid. Aren't we all? But no, David works a lot of shifts and stuff, so you've got to take that into consideration. You've got your own business, you've actually got a couple of businesses, your podcast, everything that you're doing. So to add fitness into your life, it's huge for you. So adding things onto your day, like exactly what you say, is fantastic for you. And then for me, I do have more time, so I can choose to go to the gym and sweat it out, and But I'm glad that we had this little chat, and I'm glad that I've shared with you that for many years I wasn't really into my fitness.
No, that's actually really motivated me. So again, I think it's that thing, you kind of think people are either really fit people and really into it, or you're not. Like, you don't really realise there is that kind of middle ground. And also I just think, how much I do love walking. I love being like in somewhere that's really green and under the trees and all of this kind of stuff, that I would never have found that out about myself if I hadn't been doing walks in lockdown. But it's not something I would have chosen to just go and do, but because like we had all this time, I was walking around like the country roads all where I live, and like realising how much I loved getting to the top of that hill and looking out. And if I look out a certain way, like it's onto the sea, and then you look that way and there's like loads of mountains and stuff, and it's just like the feeling I got from that every single day, and just that buzz that I got from that view. It sounds crazy, but it really, really did light something in me, and I just absolutely loved it. And then other walks and wee trails that I found round about where I live, and how much I love being under the trees. Like there's just a calmness and a feeling that you get when you're there. That I would never have known that had I never started doing those walks.
Yeah. I used to love it when you would send me the photography when you got to the top of the hill and you could see all those beautiful views, as I would look out my window to the concrete jungle of Northampton that I live in.
I know, but
yes.
Get back when you're like sending me the White House or something, pictures from the White House.
It's funny actually, because people that have lived in Northampton all their life believe that Northampton's very green. And I'm like, wow, that's fascinating, because we've lived in Scotland all our life, but then I go to other places in England that are very, very, they are cities, they're towns, and there isn't a bit of green.
Yeah.
And, I mean, Northampton has got some beautiful, beautiful areas in it, but definitely nothing like what you get, and you're right slap bang in the middle of the country. So the nearest beach is a 2-hour drive.
Yeah, I know, that's another thing, like 10-15 minutes to the beach I am. So again, I've never been at that beach. I've lived in this area
Really?
for 40 years. I've never been at that beach, and now I've been there like most days. Well, not so much now because Oscar's back is at school, but I'd pick him up from nursery, we'd go to the beach, we'd have a wee picnic at the beach. Like you can see Arran from the beach, and it's just absolutely lovely. So yeah, all those things I found out about myself, and I never would have done that if we were caught up in busy life that we were all in before lockdown. So
yeah, absolutely. Well, listen, I think today's podcast was all about people just sitting down with a cup of tea, listening to us waffling on about different things. And next week we'll get the important people on.
Well,
we'll get the experts, the ones that know what they're talking about, the ones who aren't frightened to go out in the rain and the wind. I'm so glad you said that, especially live on a podcast. That's going to give me years of pleasure, Lorraine. Years.
I'm going to record you. You're a sucker for wee Oscar's voice. I'm going to record his wee voice in the morning when he's asking me to take the car, and tell me if you could resist it.
No way I could resist it. Awesome. Okay, listen, thanks so much to everybody for tuning in. We have got 5 incredible guest speakers lined up for our next 5 series on fitness. I'm excited to bring them all to you, to introduce them, and we will all learn much more together. Have a great week, everybody.
Thank you.